Oh, hey guys, this is Team Review once again, IPL5. We're taking a look at all the teams. So it's we've taken a look at a couple so far. M5, Meat Playground, Alternate, all coming to mind. And now we're actually going to be looking at Blackbean.
Yeah.
So Blackbean, honestly, I know very little about them.
Well, I think the rest of the world is kind of in the same boat.
Yeah,
they come from Thailand. We'll talk a little bit more about the specifics. What's the game that we're actually going to be looking at here?
We're going to be looking at the last game, Game 3 of Grand Finals of the IPL5 qualifier in Thailand, where they faced up against Bangkok Titans. Where if you watch any of the GPL stuff, they are currently the representative of Thailand for the GPL, and there they are. There's Blackbean.
Oh my God!
They're the ones with the swords.
We were talking about that.
First off, actually, before we get into the team, I just want to let everyone know that Grana in Thailand, they do something really awesome, where whenever they have a major tournament, you actually get a sword. First time around, they did a big event. It was Garen's sword, but now they actually made a big, huge replica of the Tryndamere sword. And some riders were there. Rivington actually on Twitter during a big like some of the events, he tweeted out and said that sword is hella heavy.
I bet.
Look at that.
That guy's ripped, dude.
We need a sword for our trophy.
That guy is ripped.
Yeah.
That's
IPL5,
a cool trophy.
like every IPL from now on, we need a sword for the trophy.
So let's go back to the team picture though, because I just want to get everybody identified real quick. Yep. So. We're going from left to right here. So on the far left, that's Nightlights, also known as M Lightning. He plays AD. Next over, that's Zilra. He plays the AP. He's also one of the co-founders. Next is Choco. She's the manager. Then we gotta go back.
This is them cheering.
We gotta go back to the picture. Next, fourth going from the left, that's Alade. She is the support for the team.
Nice.
Then we got Porsche Cub. He plays top. And finally, on the end, on the far right, that is Insta, and he is their jungler.
Porsche Cub?
Porsche Cub.
Nice.
Porsche Cub.
Porsche Cub.
So, also not shown, though, is that, shown here is Alade. She's the support player. She's also going to be the one actually coming to IPL5. But they also have a second support who played a few months ago. I'm not sure if he's been replaced or if he was a sub or what the situation is. Their second support, his name is Punji. And between the two supports, it's like night and day. Punji, he was a very aggressive support. One of the more he actually played support Ashe a lot. But you look at Alade,
That's awesome.
She plays more of the passive supports. Lots of Soraka, lots of Janna, lots of Nunu. So it's very interesting just on that, the playstyles of your support and who they decide to swap out.
That's cool. That's very cool.
So,
so the first lady competitor at IPL.
Technically, now we talked a little bit about this at the tail end of the last episode. How we talked about Colin on TPA, and she plays very limited matches in the GPL. Did not play during Worlds.
Did she play in the match we're about to see? You can
we could actually start up the match. Alade does play.
Oh, cool.
Alade does play. This is actually immediately after, so she was on stage. So there you go. She's actually, who's she playing in this match? She's actually playing on Sona this match.
Cool. Yeah, so another somewhat passive, but with the ability of being aggressive support there. Like we were talking about before, her main supports are more like the Soraka and Nunu.
Right.
Just able to completely just add to the AD, but otherwise stay in the background.
Yeah, one more thing I also want to mention here too is that Blackbean, they also have, they're also playing Skarner this match. And I tried to go through their Facebook page with the wonder that is Google Translate. And one thing that Blackbean mentions a lot on their Facebook, they mention Skarner a lot in a lot of their team profiles under things they dislike or things they fear. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm missing something in translation, but from what I'm trying to grab and what I assume it is that they fear themselves when they get Skarner, or they fear when Skarner's not available.
They fear themselves? Like they hate it? Like they always
other teams should fear them when they have Skarner, which is strange too, because Insta, that's actually not one of his top junglers. He's actually primarily a Nautilus player.
That's interesting.
Okay, cool.
Nautilus has kind of fallen off.
He
so.
has fallen
yeah.
off, but that could be like a
And
big...
Skarner's really, I mean,
Yeah,
a really popular
everyone plays
jungler right now.
Skarner.
Yeah.
That's kind of, you look at their team and it's like just standard, you know, as standard as it gets,
Yeah.
except that Morgana's running teleport, and we've seen Alex Ish for M5 run that teleport out of that mid lane some, but it's very rare. Very few people do it, so that's kind of an interesting setup. Like that's the one, you know, interesting thing I'm noting here. The other team, Bangkok Titans, they have just like a ridiculously unusual team.
But I mean,
that's
they have
very
teleport
aggressive.
on Lux too, so maybe
Yeah.
they had an idea of what was to come.
But then in Lux play in mid is actually something that we've seen a lot of GPL recently. Like Lux is really comes right. Same thing in Korea.
Yeah, all over the place, people are picking up Lux.
Yeah, I think people are figuring out, I mean, they've probably known for a while, but seeing how good it is in competitive play now, but the cooldown reduction on Lux with that ultimate late game, I mean, it's what, 27 seconds, I think, at maximum
you
cooldown?
can clear every single wave, you can poke the enemy with it.
And it's just does a
it's
just a chunk of damage,
Also, one more thing I want to note too. Well, first off, actually, we do have the lane swap situation actually happening here, and you also have a Lade actually picking up. Usually, when you see someone get the Fairy Charm and the 4 wars, you usually see a health potion with it.
Yeah.
But there is the aggressive play. Does have the mana potion once it's spammed.
I thought you said that was Punji. I'm just kidding.
No,
this is, I know.
Well, no, that's the thing though, is just you have the team practice. I mean, of course you're going to be learning and picking up the other styles of play when necessary.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, running the mana potion. I mean, you know, it doesn't need to worry about health at all, so it just gives them that spam ability.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what you're really looking to do as Sona, is just poke a lot. She's really, really strong at that in the early game, especially when she hits like level 3 on that Q. The scale's really, really hard.
This is game 3 of the best of 3 right now?
This is game 3. So what it was...
I'm assuming that's what the 1-1 is.
So basically, the way the Thailand qualifiers worked out, it was actually 2 Swiss tournaments, and then you combined the scores from the 2 Swiss tournaments. Then you went to a live event where there was a group stage and then a double limb bracket, and all of that was best of 1 until you got to the grand final, which was an extended series. So basically, Titans, from what I understand, actually won in winners finals. Blackbean came back through losers finals. This grand finals, they won the first game, so this is it.
Oh wow!
And that was the only game that Blackbean dropped in the entire tournament.
Only game. So there was.
And how many games did they play total?
So there was 7 games in each of the Swiss tournaments. So it's 14. 3 games in group stage. 17. 18, 19. So it's about 20, 21 games.
1 million games.
Straight.
All right.
A lot.
Straight. Then they lost. Then they lost to Titans. Then they won. So basically, in order to get this spot, like it was essentially a 20-win streak, just to get. And they got to winners finals.
So these guys have some of the best win rate of any competitive team in the world.
And even then, in both of those Swiss tournaments, they actually crushed Titans in both Swiss tournaments.
Interesting.
They play Titans a lot. Show matches all the time on Garena.
Oh.
And their win rate against Titans is just completely absurd.
And we didn't see exactly what the order of the picks and bans here were. We're not sure if the lane swap was something that they had precognitively of they're going to be going that in this game, or if they're doing it in reaction to what the Bangkok Titans are trying to do. But yeah, they've got Bangkok Titans' number, able to just constantly go back and forth with them a little bit, but ending out on top when it matters. However, they have not really played any serious matches against a global team or even a regional team outside of Thailand. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do in IPL 5.
The closest that they came is they actually ended up replacing the Titans in the SEA regionals for season 2. And they actually ended up going 0-2. They lost to the Kuala Lumpur Hunters, and then they got dropped into losers and lost to Team Wild, who's there replacing the Manila Eagles.
Okay. And there's a lot of teams I've never heard of. From
I
was just there are a lot of people that play this game around the world.
Yeah,
we only hear about
right.
Yeah.
And and we kind of underestimate like how many regions Garena actually covers with their servers. Because even then, like this was actually a pretty big game festival, and this was not like the only show that Garena was like running at the weekend. It was just like, okay, we got a day for LoL, we got a day for some other games and stuff too. So they're actually like all cramming all of this action into one weekend. They actually had another tournament after this at the same show, sponsored by Razer, It was like the Vipers tournament, I think it was called, and I think they won that one too.
Oh, cool.
Oh wow.
I was actually just watching and imagining that, like, for all these teams that we don't, a lot of people don't know much about.
Right.
We could just like say whatever we want and just like we just make up random lies about them, and
So these
I
guys
hear
are
that,
the Blaze of Thailand.
yeah, and I hear that they train with Azubu Frost and Blaze. They the three of them round robin, and I think they actually are personal close friends of TSM as well. So a big international team. And we just make up like random stuff. We start talking about like, how they are, their girlfriends are supermodels and big time actresses, but they still dedicate a lot of time to the game.
Well, not out of the realm of possibility, because even when we had the SGS visit us for Face Off and we visit us, the Garena teams do actually scrim a lot with the Chinese teams, just because of close proximity. So at the very least, I mean, I think it may be safe to assume
that they're best friends with TSM.
That's it. It's in. It's solidified.
Take that clip.
It may be safe to assume that maybe there's been a scrim or two with the likes of World Elite or IG or Noah's Ark or other All Gamers, other Chinese teams.
I'm curious what Blackbean's going to do to, I don't know, get the momentum back in their side right now, because so far it's been all Bangkok Titans. Like, they've just been running around. They've been very aggressive with Lux and Jarvan. So they're able to get 2 kills up top. They swapped their lanes again, so anticipating Jarvan going down, I think. Or maybe they just wanted to get Vlad into a lane.
Yeah.
But
the lane swap didn't exactly work.
They're
out
already
for
losing a turret.
Yeah, they actually they swapped out, realized
in
they
the
weren't gonna get
2v1
top.
lane. That's crazy.
He just walked up and took it. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were here."
But that does speak to some of the passive play that Blackbean does sometimes exert. But from some of the matches I've watched, not just from Blackbean, but just from other parts of the qualifier and whatever I can get off Garena, is that the Thailand meta is very passive. It's very farm oriented, and I've seen matches with Blackbean. Like there's one specific show match where he played against the Titans, and it was about 35-40 minutes in, and both their mid laner, bot laner, and top laner all had an excess of 300-350 farm.
Oh wow!
Which is completely absurd. And I think hey, if we had a passive NA team, it's hey, how does it feel to be out farmed by a team you know nothing about?
And I was just actually going to look down at that farm, and then I realized we're in the way.
This is
right there.
Considering in comparison to other games that Blackbean has done, this is actually a pretty low farm game.
Well,
there's no way to tell.
Really. They're all sitting at 240 CS 10 minutes in right now.
And that's a strength that they might be able to bring into IPL5.
Right.
Anyone that goes against these guys is going to have very little scouting information to go against.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking about on the other side where the North American and European teams need to kind of counteract the Asian aggression and be aggressive themselves. But Blackbean, they might actually be able to do it on the other end, where other teams might play passive against them because they're not sure what Blackbean can do, and that might fall directly into their style.
Right, but also I think the Blackbean may be the only passive team though, because the NA side is abnormally aggressive because we don't have the usual suspects in there. A lot of the EU teams coming in are more on the aggressive end. The rest of Asia is a very aggressive play style.
Yeah, there are some passive teams though. I mean, if you can protect yourself early on, not allow some of those aggressive teams to get off to a good start, then that passive play can work out. And at least in this game, they have a team that's just designed for team fights. Vladimir can single-handedly win fights. It's kind of funny that we didn't see Vladimir at MLG at all this past weekend, or in some of the recent tournaments, he's completely dropped off because he can still just instantly win you team fights. So
but as we move into the aggressive meta style,
he can't farm as much.
He can't. Well, I mean, he he has a hard time early game. He just doesn't have. He's not that strong, and so it's really waiting for the late game for Vlad to take off. And if you're losing hard early or you're getting a lot of pressure put on you, he struggles.
Though Vlad has the benefit of he's strong even with low farm. I mean, he won't do as much as you would like him to do. He's not going to be just the damage machine that you're expecting. But his ultimate, at the very least, like when you're under farmed as Vlad, because it gives such a huge damage boost to your whole team, you just drop your ultimate on in the middle of the team, and you'll generally be fine if you go a quick hunting, guys. But you're right. That is, I mean, in order to have sustained damage that you want from Vlad, he does need to farm, and he can be weak early.
So you're still, Blackbean's still trying to find out their first tower, and they're actually eventually going to grab it here.
Yeah, it's only 11 minutes. But like we're talking, like it hasn't been, pushing game. It's 12 minutes into the game. They have they group as a 3-man to push down a tower.
Yeah.
So they're still making plays happen. And the gold, it's almost even. So despite the 2-0 early advantage for Bangkok Titans, it seems Blackbean's actually out farming them in lanes to try and keep up.
Yeah.
So we don't know a lot about Blackbean, but what we do know is they farm a good amount.
Yes.
And they're going to be probably the biggest underdogs coming into IPL 5. Them or Iceland, right?
Blackbean and Iceland, who are they're the biggest underdogs because they're the biggest unknowns.
Yeah. So I mean that's kind of a good position to be in. Like we had talked about, you can be and just run crazy strategies because one, I mean, no one expects you to do anything, so you really don't have a whole lot to lose. But also, I mean, no one knows anything about them, so
if
the
you
cool strategies can be really effective.
2 wins in the group stage. That's all it takes.
Yes,
pretty much.
Two games, not even
2 games. Yeah, 2 best of ones in the group stage. If you take someone by surprise, all of a sudden, you're looking good. You're in the upper bracket and already, one of the top teams.
It's going to be a rough group stage for them though, because it's the odds. Well, it's guaranteed they're going to be matched up at least with one top level seed, and because of all the strange forfeit things that happened with both EU and NA, both Blackbean and both Iceland, they're going to be matched. The groups are just going to be immensely hard.
Well, dude, the tournament's so stacked.
It is.
Like, we're trying to figure out, like, is there going to be an easy group? And there's no way any combination of any teams is going to be an easy group. Everyone's going to be having a really hard time.
There's going to be a group that's going to be like TSM versus CLG versus TPA, like in the group stage. I mean, not necessarily all of them together clearly, but
there's a slim chance. There's a very slim chance that Blackbean and Iceland could actually end up in the same group, which would be the best case scenario.
I think the best case scenario is they get in a group with a bunch of NA teams. Am I right?
Asian teams.
Well, in all fairness, it'd probably make the group easier for them. So,
exactly.
It's like all NA teams. Oh, that's easy. Perfect. We'll all farm them. We'll beat them in their own game. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Am I right, people? Curse, huh?
So far, though, it's been, a pretty safe game for them. They've given up 3 kills, but each of the kills, other than the first 2 in the top lane, the last kill, they were able to take the dragon as a result. So that's an exchange in their favor. So it's a very even game, and I mean their team fighting potential. They could just instantly win the fights. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens and how BKT is going to try and use the Lux.
It's a very nice dark binding there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's interesting, their team comp in this. It feels really safe, except for Skarner, who's like feels like to me like an aggressive, like get in their face.
Well, but he's safe somebody early in the game.
Right.
Yeah,
because you control the whole map.
Absolutely, but I feel like the safety of the rest of the team is goes throughout the game.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
And so it feels a little bit like the comp isn't completely synergized, but I mean Skarner's just a really strong jungle in general.
It's Insta's like pretty much like the black sheep of the team, because you have a team that all the lanes they like to farm, they like to play passive, they like to get their move.
Except for there.
Too aggressive. It was a little too aggressive there,
it.
but here's the thing: like you have all these passive lanes, but you have a jungler who plays very aggressive, and it reflects in his champ picking. Scar can get aggressive. I mentioned Nautilus; he gets in your face. He also ends up playing a lot of Nocturne and Nunu, which are very aggressive-oriented junglers. So it's a strange mix.
But they're all good map control junglers, other than Nautilus. Nautilus is the black sheep of the junglers there, but Skarner gives them great map control, and then we've seen Skarner and Morgana paired a lot in that mid and jungle combo because you get a pull on someone, you pull them into a bind, you get the kill. Like that's it. So it's a good single target pick off. But then they have the Sona and the Morgana to pick and choose where the fights are going to happen. They have the mobility, and they're just they can kite, but then say, all right, now we're going to fight, and then dive in. So it's I do think it is actually a really strong synergy team. I mean, it's a pretty standard team that we've seen a lot of. It's kind of just a standard team, like all the best champions that we've seen in the past.
How old is this? This was like a month
about
ago?
a month ago.
Okay.
A month ago?
This is recent. This is really recent.
Okay.
More recent than the Season 2 championships? Before or after?
It was before. It was like slightly after.
Okay. It was before. It was like slightly
after.
Okay. So
I get it. Okay.
It's one of the above. Yeah.
Okay, Worlds was slightly after.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Yeah, so pre-Sona nerf,
Yeah.
pre-Skarner nerf.
Yeah. He wasn't nerfed that hard though, but yeah.
Well, actually, I've been hearing that his ultimate's a lot harder to hit now against some champions.
Oh, that's actually the big.
Yeah,
that's
It's
true.
you cannot flash.
I mean, it's not an intentional nerf. It's a bug fix.
Yeah,
but
because what you used to do is that if Skarner impaled you, if you flashed out or blinked out or whatever, something just to try and to try and get distance away, he would still pull you in.
Yeah.
That is no longer the case.
Yep. And there's still ultimates that
I feel like they
that
might need to
still.
increase the range kind of to do that, because I'm curious what happens if people just walk out of range.
Yeah, it's just break right out of it.
I mean, they don't even have to. If they don't even have to flash away, they just like sidestep a little bit.
That would be really good ultimate to have. It's like a skill shot, but it's only like this far. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what it is now. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But we'll keep. I guess we'll just see how that kind of works out. But so far BKT's been really aggressive, but it's still a really even game. I think Blackbean's just kind of sitting back for a little bit. They want to make sure that they get deep enough into the game.
That hurts. Man,
that was really nice.
Sona ult and then Vlad ultimate.
And they got
coordination
oracles on that too.
Jarvan's close to going down too.
They got an oracles on that kill, which was just huge. He's getting way too.
Well, they have great single target pick off, and then the AoE is really nice too. Lux actually just canceled the teleport. Lux was going to come in and then went, oh no, change mind.
Once again there we saw Insta being a little too aggressive there. The rest of his team was not ready to back him up. He took a little bit more damage than he needed to. Now he needs to recall. They can't follow it up with another play.
Well, I mean, but he was chasing them off and trying to see if he could follow up on anyone. And
yeah, but that's something that like they need to work on their communication a little bit so that the team knows if they need to follow him immediately or if he should just back off a little bit earlier.
And this is also not something you see every day. You got the AP mid actually grabbing the oracles, which is.
Can we move the webcam and everything off to the side? Like just put it in the bottom left corner or something. Cover up, the casters in the bottom left, something, just so we can see items and whatnot. But see if we get anything interesting. Hopefully TD heard me. But yeah, so it is still very even. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't try and pressure a tower off of that, but I guess they didn't really have much time. And Lux was full. Lux is back and is able to defend.
Nice.
We don't see Jarvan in North America at all.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen Jarvan in a competitive game for 6, 7, 8 months maybe.
Like Nintendo.
Well, IG plays Jarvan.
Sorry, in North America
will sometimes
specifically.
play Jarvan if Olaf is banned and he's bored.
We saw Singapore Sentinels play Jarvan at a face-off.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah.
With the Karma build, that was really interesting. That was working, and they had a really strong early advantage.
They're great. I mean, I remember that their AD was really far behind, but yeah, really nice pick off.
And that was another big communication error too, because Porsche went in and nobody else followed.
But
I don't know.
They got caught a little bit out in the Lux plus Ezreal just kind of combo to do a lot of damage.
They're just kind of circling in and out. They're cycling very well as a team to try and pick people off and then recycle, so no one's dying on their team other than Vlad. But he
it's still
barely
1 for 1,
went down.
but they're gonna lose the tower off it though.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't had the ideal initiation that they want, but they're just trying to poke at them and try and see who they can grab.
Yeah, they're losing objectives, but they're losing as little as possible with losing those objectives. So it goes back to what we were talking about before, where they're playing very defensively. That's kind of their style, and if they play it as a team, they're not going to lose much at all. But if they disperse a little bit, that's something they're going to need to tighten up before they come into IPL 5.
Yeah.
They're down 3 towers. They're down 3 kills, but the gold difference is less than 2K.
Yeah, that's pretty significant.
It's pretty amazing, and that's all farm. And plus, also get the dragon on top of it too.
So this is their second dragon up on them?
I think
Is that-
so.
Okay.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so too.
And this
So-
is amazing, just the farm.
Yeah, I mean, that's the power of farm. You can sit back, not play aggressive, just make sure you farm well, play somewhat safe, and still be completely relevant in the game.
So they do grab a dragon, and they're still, putting pressure around the map. I mean, it really is an even game right now. There's a very slight, minor gold lead for BKT, unless
Yeah.
I'm reading it.
No,
wrong.
no,
it
it's
just went up
less
to
than
28.
1,000.
That's for the team goal, but it'd be nice to see if we.
I can't tell if that's a
look
3
at
or an
the-
8 now.
The differences between the different lane matchups right now and the items that they're picking.
Yeah.
If we could get the video.
Is the
slid over.
webcam
Just
over?
slide
Yeah.
the video over to the left.
We'll all do the slide, just like.
No, we won't.
Wrong.
Nah,
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have to do it together.
Hey.
It's
You
team.
got it.
A little
All
bit
right, so
more.
what do we got going
Tiny
on?
So-
little bit. Cool.
All right, so.
All right, we get most of it.
Yeah, they maxed out the HUD on the Taiwan end. So
So
hey,
a lot
let's
of-
look at the items. Let's look at the
Yeah,
items.
a lot of
real
go for
quick.
fives throughout the entire team. They really want to go for that late game, and with their composition, not too surprising for that.
So you got, we got the
Their
logo.
farm
standard
isn't
stuff.
very good,
No,
actually.
So here's the thing, though. It's like I said before. This is a considerably low farm game for them, but still though.
Yeah, I mean,
they're
everyone's
out-
been pretty aggressive.
they're out
Part of that's the
farming-
lane swaps and stuff.
Part of that's the lane swap, but they're still out farming
Yeah.
the Titans. That's the
Right.
important thing.
Yeah, and nothing that unusual. Graves is going for Infinity Edge, which I mean used to be kind of the Graves standard. Now people have been moving into be a Bloodthirster sooner, so you can finish off your Zeal and whatnot.
Yep.
But
Vlad going to GP10 route. Quick Zonia's onto Morgana too for all the initiation, and actually go for the Ninja
the
Debbie
Woda
too.
on Vlad, that's something we haven't seen in a while though.
Yeah.
So going double gold per 10, like you said, but then going with the Woda, and Vlad, he doesn't need a lot of gold, or he doesn't need a lot of big items in order to deal a lot of damage. So
Right.
Since
that,
levels.
it helps Morgana a little bit, and it allows him to sustain some.
Yeah, but I think also the GP10s was also a result of the lane swap. It was like you recognize, okay, so
Yeah.
I'm put in a bad spot. I need to make sure I have my income because.
And that's-
But that's the thing that Vlad may not need a whole lot of items to do damage, but if he has no items, he's pretty much useless.
And that's the biggest goal difference is Vlad versus. Well, I was gonna say the guy next to him, but then I realized that was Maokai.
Vlad and Jarvan.
Vlad and Jarvan. Vlad has a nice little farm lead because he went for those gold pretends. He has a little bit more gold. And Jarvan going for the Triforce. So, that kind of aggressive bruiser build. But usually we don't see Vlad Jarvan go for the Triforce. Usually he goes for just kind of tanky items. and
Usually doesn't go at all because
he
he's
usually
not in
doesn't go at
competitive
all.
games.
Yeah.
Jarvan doesn't Jarvan.
No.
Very
No,
much.
I don't know what that
Sitting in
means,
his
but
passes.
no.
Yeah.
I think
He
it's
sure
the
doesn't.
new dance craves. Everyone's doing it. This is terrible.
Do Jarvan, just trap your entire team and get rocked by Nezreal.
Yeah.
But
He's
they're,
helping.
they're pushed into their base, but they're still keeping up and
Yeah.
not falling behind ever. And
BKT's
That's
not
the
going to
key.
be able to engage because of
Though-
the amount of damage that.
at the same time, if they lose their towers this quickly against one of these top international teams that we've been talking about, that's going to be scary.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine TPA with how they stomped M5 with their split push? Like they didn't even get any
they're
kills in that
going.
game.
Oh god.
Oh, wow.
They just turned it on.
And that's what Skarner does. Skarner you get one pick off.
There you go. Just
And it's a
destroy his
4v5.
flash ult, and that's it. That Lux laser though is still a menace. Like look
Yeah.
how much it shaved off everyone's ult. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But after that, that's all Lux does.
Yeah,
Right.
and they've got the disengage to be able to
Right.
still have
But, yeah.
very low health, but be in the area
And it's,
to follow it up.
And it's 3
But
kills for free.
going back to what you were talking about before with the turrets going down, like there's very little vision on the map for
Yeah.
either BKT or for Blackbean. So,
But
if
BKT
they-
should have control of that, having those turrets down.
exactly,
Yeah.
like that's the thing is Blackbean has still been able to pick up the dragons despite not having any ground control and no vision around them.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
going up against a more experienced global team, they might have a little bit of an issue. But we do see an Oracle's on Morgana. There's another Oracle with Skarner in case they need it. So they have the counterintelligence available to them if it comes to playing a game against a global team. But the way they're playing right now, a little bit little bit worried how they're going to do in IPL.
And I would wonder if the other team like last pick something like Nidalee that can split push or has a Shen or something.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they have all their turrets down, but instead of being able to stick together as a team and defend their base and be like, oh cool, we got a Skarner ult, we killed someone, or we have a Morgana ult. Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, dang, you're still taking my top lane, and we don't have a way to react. So that's going to be something that I guess we'll kind of see how they're going to deal with that. But that's kind of the biggest concern watching them play right now. But otherwise they're farming effectively, and they have a very strong coordinated team fight team. So that's a big strength as the game progresses if they can run that effectively.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate what you said earlier. If they're going to give up all of this stuff this early, was it Trevor that said it? That, I mean, when they play against a top team who knows how to snowball, knows how to really take advantage of a lead. Like, we didn't really see BKT push their advantage that much, but a team that really knows how to do that, how to push that advantage, is going to just walk all over them unless they figure out a way to, not get taken advantage of early on.
Yep, we'll definitely have to see that.
It is a little bit of miscommunication having the Oracles on Morgana and also the Elixir on Skarner, just waiting for the time for Morgana to die. Like, that 400 gold could have been put into something a little bit more effective in this mid game.
And even it's so weird though, like, just to see the Oracles like period on AP mid, because I mean it does speak a little bit to where the income's going. It speaks to a little bit of like how involved you're going to be with the game, and just that, like, we see the teleport on Morgana. Like, she wants to be in the fights. She wants to make sure like she's the big centerpiece, and even then, further implied by the pickup of the Zhonya's first. So you want to be. She wants to be the big presence. Wants to be the main initiator. Make sure that everyone can actually catch up and follow up. And if she's going to be leading the charge, I mean, that pretty much shows it. Like, okay, I'm Morgana. I'm the leader. I'm going to be out front.
Oh man, got caught out.
There we go, though. Oof.
They really needed Lux to win this game and just got blasted down so quick.
Yeah.
Well, Lux needs to pick people off.
Yeah.
You need to be able to just say, all right, there's our target, get them.
Well, I mean, the reason she's so strong late game is because she can just sit in the back and you stall and you ultimate and you just chip them down slowly. But if you just get caught out in the very beginning of the team fight where you're not getting to go and go through your cooldowns a couple times, then you're gonna have a serious problem. And
this game feels very over. I mean, because they're going to get the Baron off of that, and they have this really strong late game team compared with BKT. So BKT, they were able to hold off against BKT's aggression. So that's definitely an important skill to have, and that's something that could definitely factor in. It's just whether or not that whether you see the same stuff. Oh god.
Oh no.
Yeah, there was a little bit of hesitation for them before they moved from the mid lane to that Baron, which cost them Skarner and possibly
that's actually
Baron as well.
One of the issues with going double AP. Why people, partially why people have moved into bruisers. I mean, there's a number of reasons. Generally, like, bruisers are stronger in fights sometimes, but when you have the double AP and champ like Morgana, they don't have any Baron damage, and they don't. The only person tanking Baron is Skarner. Vladimir isn't gonna help. He's not gonna cut it. So they weren't able to take it down as fast as they would like.
Nope. And that's a switch again. They lost control even though they just gained it back from the mistake of Lux before.
Yeah, and that looked like a situation where they were close to ending the game. Like, Black Beans was close to just turning it around and saying, "All right, we're a lot stronger than you now. It's over."
Yeah. Like, they could have actually pushed it further. They could have gotten a hit off that, like, straight out. It was just getting hit back off. I
think there's too many turrets, and the respawn timers are too low. But yeah, it would have been close. They would have at least gotten some turrets. And you see BKT, like, I don't know, I think they were trying to catch them off, but now they realize they have to defend that Baron, and they're going to have a just full-on brawl here. Yeah,
and even if Blackbeam did decide to go for it, it's like you mentioned before, it's going to take them a while. They're going to have plenty of time. The Lux ultimate is already back up, because we've already talked about how short that thing is, and it's still like playing. And Titans have they still have decent AoE. I mean, the Leona ult right in the middle of the Baron pit, and that's going to get everybody.
Is anyone else watching the game through the smaller second screen? Oh, of course.
I will say this much though. Their stage setup for this is actually like Greek themed, kind of like Caesar's Palace theme, despite the fact that IPL 5 is not at Caesar's Palace. But
or in the future, it's cosmopolitan.
But they actually had like barriers actually like coming down. They had the teams on stage. Okay, it's game time, and they lower down as like little isolation booths, so they can't look at the audience. This is all played in real time. They can't look forward. They have walls behind them, so they can't actually look at the screen. They're just like completely blocked off. Then when the game ends, they lift them up and they're all cheering and they're all happy and awesome.
That's kind of like, that reminds me how I wanted us to have the booths, but then you kick down the walls when the game's over, and the players just walk up. It would be kind of like
fall down.
It would be like Office
Office Space.
Office Space, and he's just like, he kicks down the wall of his cubicle, and that's like how all the LoL players would end the game.
we would have to make like 50 of those, and I have no idea where we would put them. No.
I just put them
only for the final.
You just put them
the
back
wall
up.
back up. Put it on a hinge.
All right.
I hope they bring the sword with them.
That would be something.
Not on the plane. We want them to get into the
Yeah. I mean, they'll
find a way.
Sorry, sir.
Find a way to
that.
bring the sword with you. That would be amazing.
You're gonna have to check it. So, but I mean, back to the game. Black Bean doesn't. I mean, it seems like the game's starting to turn, but they're still getting forced back. And if it's anything like we've seen in the previous fights, they fall back and then they just flip a switch, and Skarner just runs in and grabs somebody, and they turn the whole fight
Looks
around.
like the switch was
I think so. The other thing is they have double Shirelias too, so they can pop one, wait for it to end, pop the other one. They can chase forever if given the opportunity.
Shirley's is pretty good.
Shirelias is pretty good.
Pretty good for the chase. I'll be interested to see if Shirley sticks around for season 3.
Oh, it's a great item.
Yeah, the item is really, really good.
Be around.
You think so? Because they're kind of getting rid of all the really good items. So.
Force Nature Man.
Well, Shirley is the thing I like about Shirley is, it'll make it. They'll change it, I think, because there's. I do know they said they're going to make changes to like gold pretends and stuff like that. But Shirley's is a cool active ability item.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I think they might want to open it up so it's not just a support item, because my favorite times when you're using Shirley is when you're the top lane, for instance. Like Olaf will get Shirley as often as like one of his early items. I love early Shirley as on
So you can ult and then Shirley can drive.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a ghost, but you give it for your whole team. So maybe make it an active item that really is more team-based and less like you have your one support and you're like, hey, what the hell? Why don't you have Shirley as yet?
Just everyone gets it.
Right.
By everyone,
everyone's just kiting around. Yeah. Well, by everyone I mean supports.
But should be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I think the support role is going to completely change in season 3. So we'll see how things change and what effect that has on the competitive scene. I know we're seeing a lot of changes now. I mean, this is the old Sona. The new Sona is a lot weaker, and just doesn't have the same sustain. So they're making changes there. And so I mean, if Blackbean if their support player isn't playing some of the newer stuff like Janna, we keep talking about how good Janna's probably going to be, then it might be a hard time. Oh, nice, nice zoom. That was some good camera control.
I do have a tendency to do that sometimes. Who whiffed it the other day? I can't remember. Someone whiffed. And
yesterday when we were watching the VOD.
Did he actually whiff though? I thought he was just checking the Baron.
No, he missed the Baron. It was he was like out in front of the Baron, like missed the wave too.
Oh, okay.
But we've seen the match history, and it's Alade, and she's done her Janna play. She's done that. She plays Nunu. I think I've also seen a few Alistar games too. So and we got the Sona. So I think she's well versed enough.
Yeah.
She should be fine. Keyword being should.
So making sure she's on the same page as the rest of the team.
Right.
Again, it's more about Insta.
It's more about Insta.
Insta run out there and then stays with everyone.
Yeah, Insta acts a little bit too instantly without really talking with the rest of the team first. But when they are all on the same page, as we've seen before with those initiations, it's like, okay, we're all here, they're there, we can pick one off, Shirelia's go. When they get those moments of brilliance, they're amazing, and they eke out those fights, and they take them.
Looking at the cooldown reduction right now, I bet.
Yeah. No, it's 40%.
Yeah. That's pretty
insane.
That's a lot of cooldown reduction.
It's quite a bit,
especially for an ult that has very low cooldown.
Yeah.
And also considering when they only have Skarner as that frontline tank, so sometimes if you have multiple tanks or shields, then you can just tank the turrets. But since Lux can just clear all the minion waves, and they don't have someone that they would be comfortable with tanking those turrets, it could kind of stall off Blackbean for a little bit, where they need to win a fight in order to be able to push.
Right. Well, then,
And the gold is still hell, it's like 500 gold difference.
Yeah, it's a pretty close game.
It's 2 kills down. Well, actually, you're 2 kills up. There's still 3 turrets down.
No one wants to initiate. That's really, I think, the big thing. Because if, like James said, if Skarner goes in,
he just wants to dance.
Yeah. If Skarner goes in, he gets burned down. If someone else goes in, they get burned down because of the Morgana bind and everything. It's
Father, I don't want to be a League of Legends champion. I just want to dance.
He's getting his opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Nick, it's they know that BKT knows one bad fight and it's over. And Blackbean also knows BKT's playing defensively. They can't just run at Lux because they'll get picked off and worn down.
blasted.
This is a huge game for these guys. A lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, that absolutely. Do we
Some
know
of
how
the
big
players have probably never left Thailand before, and this is their opportunity to come to Las Vegas in America.
Oh my God.
To compete for a ridiculous prize pool.
Right. It's got to be like. I want to see Blackbean like when they get off the plane, like just have them see the venue for the first time.
It's a lot dirtier here than I thought it would be.
yeah.
Except in Thai.
Look at all the disgusting people. Oh, that's James Railman, actually.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize we were getting into it here, Nick. Pull out my whip around the backside and get Rudy to bring it out for me.
So, what is Estrel? Do we know what that is?
Estrel is, they
region?
have 2 sponsors.
Okay.
I don't know what.
It's an acne cleanser.
I don't know what Estrel is.
That's what it sounds like.
But they are also sponsored by Razer.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
So they actually have
Well, Razer kind of sponsors a lot.
Well, what's the thing? Well, Razer.
Yeah.
But there's Razer has actually had like a lot of expansion in Southeast Asia, and I think they made a good choice. But
Wow, this is it. We're missing it right here, actually.
Wow.
Jarvan.
It's just the quick pick-off potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Jarvan needs to kind of get in there and ult, and just got blasted down.
And there you go, there's
I think it's funny that they're like running in
destroys.
fear.
Yeah.
When they did use several ultimates, so that's kind of their concern right now.
Oh no!
Oof,
Body block. Body
now
block.
look at that. Look at that body block. That is amazing.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh boy.
The coordination's there.
Yeah,
Lux probably
pretty
could have
good.
killed Vlad actually.
Flash
It's
ultimate.
Vlad, no. If she had just angled to the left.
Huh.
But she didn't really know where he was, I guess.
The coordination, the coordination was there. It's like, okay, Vlad, low health, Skarner, you're here. Get a little more, just body block, something, anything. Because one Ezreal shot, if that Phage proc hit again,
Oh
that
no!
would've
One more
been
hit.
it. It would have been dead. It would have been just pure death. They actually probably could have gotten an inhibitor off that.
Yeah, it would have been bad.
Well, it's interesting when the ults are down for Blackbean, they're very weak, and that's a good point. Is because it's an AOE team. When your AOE ults are down, you're weak, and so even 4v5, BKT is stronger than them when Blackbean's ults are down. So if they can bait out the ultimates, then BKT's in a good situation. So it really comes down to Blackbean making sure they capitalize on every single engage.
Yep, and they've been doing a pretty good job of it so far. Some few drop balls here and there, but they've created a very nice situation, and it has gotten to the point where this is essentially a standoff. We're heading into late game, to where one team fight can pretty much swing everything. It's like, okay, you got ace, we got ace. That's a Baron. That's a push for the win.
One concern is they've been falling behind in farm, and they were ahead earlier, but as the game's progressed, Ezreal has just been pulling ahead, Lux as well, and so if they're not keeping up in farm and they fall behind early on turrets, that's kind of not the best recipe for success.
But you will see though that Vlad though has actually overtaken Jarvan though.
Yeah. Has he?
He has.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, by a good amount.
Jarvan
Well, he's been up for a
farmed a lot.
long time actually. I think. Vlad
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. Vlad's been looking pretty strong in this game. That ultimate is just really, really good. So I'm playing a game with myself with the bottom right screen to see if I can see what's happening without actually.
Oh, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's what I'm saying.
Now, what items do they?
Yeah, exactly.
If you,
I
if
really
you
like
can tell me what items they have on the super small screen.
I really like
we
his
were still
super small
blocking
screen
them
build.
Earlier, I would be impressed.
Oh man.
It's
that looks
the
pretty-
gunner glasses. They help give me
Yeah.
supervision.
I think I was trying to show the casters underneath the monitor or the players or something like
okay.
that.
Yeah, I think
but
it's
instead
for
of
the
zooming
casters.
in, they were just like, here's the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's nice. It's ambiance.
Could you imagine being in the audience and you're looking at that? Because it'd be kind of like harder to see the people on that screen than it would the people that are right in front of you.
Oh man, Maokai, get out of there. not going to happen. There's the
Vlad zoned off the rest of his team so that he couldn't get into anyone.
Oh, jeez.
These Lux ults are hitting 3-4 people.
Yeah, that's
but
they are
it's just not enough.
It's not enough.
Well, they have a lot of sustain now too.
Yep.
Man.
So 4v5, thought they would go for the Baron, but apparently, I mean, they're a little bit scared. They got the Ezreal and...
No, they're zooming down the bot lane because they got a pretty beefy wave pushing, actually.
Okay.
Look at that.
Yeah, they can take the turret
This
pretty
one's
quickly.
done.
Yeah, they can take that.
So, gotta be honest, a little worried for Blackbean.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
they haven't
yeah.
shown me anything where I'm like super impressed, and so I'm worried if they play a standard game, there are seemingly a lot better standard teams out there, and they're gonna run into one in the group stage. So, honestly, I mean, for them, and I mean, we're gonna wrap up with our top 3 at the end here, top 3 recommendations. But really, I think they need some cheesy plays, some interesting stuff to kind of throw off the other teams. Oh my gosh.
Also, at the same time, I mean, just practicing with some of those, you know, Asian teams that we've seen that have been so strong. Just, I mean, this is, you know, still a little bit ago. So, assuming since then, if they just scrim constantly with some of the teams, like TPA and Najin Sword coming in, they just scrim constantly. And Najin Sword, you know, was a really strong team in the second season of OGN, but they were kind of underrated for a while, and they weren't looked at as, you know, the best team in the Korean scene. So, you know, just getting off that, you know, experience will definitely be huge.
But that's going to be a little difficult for them as well if they don't get to America or one of the other Asian countries before IPL 5, because the internet they have in Thailand is not going to allow them to connect to Korea or some like northern China or something to actually
it's
get
not
a low
it's
ping
not
game.
just a Garena server that
They're on a completely different server.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they do have their own. They do have their own server.
There's a lot of little mini
That's going to be a
servers,
struggle
yeah.
then. That's really going to be a struggle.
But not to say that, I mean, Gorena's like, you know, they're very open though. Like, it's like, okay, you're practicing for a tournament. We recognize it's a pretty big deal. And you know, they've, from what I understand, like a lot of things like in the past, is like, oh, we just need, you know, some sort of mediator like between regions, like if you want to get a practice or a script or something.
They just
But
add that one
isn't the
extra
issue
level
the
of
ping
complexity.
though?
It does.
You're saying
Well,
the
you got
issue's the
language
ping
issues,
between.
you got ping issues, you've got just what server their home server is.
Right.
So there's a lot of technical difficulties that might make it more difficult for this team, these 5 players, to get where they need to be by IPL 5.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
Flash. Oh, he's dead.
He's still
dead.
gone. He's still gone. He got out of the ultimate, and Ezreal still just could not make it out.
Yeah, that was a lot
so
of
that'll be
damage.
it. They're just going to overrun them now. But
Yes.
so going through, you know, everyone's, I guess, 3 things that you notice about Blackbean, but that will be key for them to be successful.
Yeah.
They're just kind of all blowing their ultimates now. So yeah, they know it's so
Not
I
being
guess-
predictable.
yeah, that's a good
Exactly.
point.
Yes.
Like whoever they go against, they need to use that underdog status. They need to be able to come in and surprise people in some way. So they can't just be a safe team every single time, but they have to have it in their pocket. Finding decent practice before IPL 5 is going to be another key thing.
Yes.
And then
Not losing towers early.
Yeah.
that's going to be
Defending,
big.
being
Any
able to
advantage
defend
they
your
give the other
turrets
team
early.
is going to be hard.
Yeah,
I mean,
we've seen-
that's usually going to snowball the game against you to lose that many turrets that early in the game. I mean, just keeping up any of them, and being able to, you know, be fluid and move around as a team to counter out. A lot of times in the beginning of the team, Bangkok Titans were the ones making the plays. That's kind of why Morgana went to teleport, so she could move with her team. But you saw there was one time she tried to teleport, she had to cancel it. You know, she wasn't really comfortable joining the team. So they need to be able to group up as a team, because BKT was just running all over them early.
Yeah. I think team communication is still an issue for Blackbean too, because we did see a few instances where not everyone was on the same page, particularly Insta. You would try and you'll get a little bit too far out. Same thing with Bor. She's been a little bit quick on the trigger also. The scrimming deal, and pretty much the only team they've regularly scrimmed against is the Titans, and they need more experience than that if they ever, you know, if they want to make a great success out of IPL 5. And then I forgot my last point.
Use the female support player.
No. It's
Because that.
however, we do have you know, one high point of Blackbean, and we're not seeing it in this game, but we've seen before how good they are at the farming game.
Yeah.
If they can withstand the aggressive play, if they can defend against tower dives, if they can if they can prevent situations which allows our teams to split push, if they can force other teams to play into mid-game and late game, to force them to play the farming game, they will win outright.
Yeah, that's a good point. So if they pick a strong late game team and can control early on, but I think it's definitely going to come down to how much control they have over the beginning of the game, because you didn't really see a lot of it in this game, but they were able to hold off. So it's, maybe we're just underestimating Bangkok Titans and underestimating, the pressure they were putting on, and maybe it was a really good showing by Blackbean to, hold off against it. So it's going to be interesting to see, how they deal with some of that early group play that we've seen.
Yeah, and we've mentioned before too, with like some more inexperienced teams, that they perform better in best of threes as opposed to best of ones, which will be the group stage. And I think most people will be assuming that Blackbean will actually be starting out the bracket stage in the losers bracket. They may not perform as well in group stage, because let's face it, it's going to be a pretty effing stacked tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. There may be surprises in store. Maybe there's that secret Skarner that maybe it is right to be feared. We may still.
It didn't look like that much of a secret, though. It was
right,
standard Skarner that we always see everyone play. That you go and you grab someone and you kill them.
But there may be something that Blackbean still has yet to show us. Even that Nautilus play that we've heard about.
Yeah.
Also,
Blackbean.
their motto is "Watch your back." So everyone in North America, Europe, and the rest of Asia,
they have a cool logo.
They have the coolest name.
It's funny because we were actually going through, and because we needed the logo for like all of our production stuff too, and we gave it a nice little touch up too, because the only copy they had was like an artifacted like JPEG on their Facebook. So actually, when they actually come to IPL 5 and we see it on the big screen, it'll be all nice, touched up in Photoshop and everything. It'd be nice.
Cool.
So,
people really care about their logos.
Yeah. It's an important part of them. It's an important part of a team to have. Unlike some teams like Iceland, which still hasn't sent us a logo yet.
Oh yeah.
Well, their country.
Well, just the Iceland flag.
Right.
I think it's always signed up, right? That's really. It's the best logo of all.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. We get all the top threes done.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah. Surprise. Cheese. Cheese. That's the number one.
Yeah, cheese.
Cheese.
Yeah.
All right, where are the glasses?
And bean dip. Cheese and bean dip.
There we go. We're still giving away the 2 pairs of gunners. Look at these guys.
Check it out.
It's very nice, very well on them. IGN.com/IPL giveaways. We're giving away 2 pairs of these. Get a whole bunch of buttons, and you'll be entered in to win those. And I think we're pretty much done. Next time, we're going to be going over Team Fear, also formerly known as Mono Ferris, formerly known as MTWNA, formerly known as Picture of a Goose.
Also known as Team Afro Moo.
Also known as Team Afro Moo or Muffin Cutie's Revenge.
No,
I just made that one up. We'll be back when we look at Fear next time. Thanks for joining us. We will see you guys next time.
Toodaloo!
We shouldn't mention what team we're looking at.